What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Social City Podcast. I'm your host, Old School Omar. This is my beautiful, strong, passionate, empathetic wife.
Oh, wow.
Ariana Cherie Foster at Abby. Say what's up to the people, boo.
What up, people? I got some extra adjectives this week.
On today's episode, we're going to be chatting about the power of mindset. We've got special guests and socialites, Nestor and Marion on the show. And then we're going to get into our classic obsession of the week and close out with some gratitude. But first, gotta give a shout out to the sponsors, Pete and Jody Sabal, y'all. Woo! Today's episode is sponsored by two very special people in our lives. They have been truly some of the most supportive members and friends, not only around the podcast, but Social City and our personal lives. If you have ever had the pleasure of meeting this couple, you could easily mistake them for newlyweds with how incredibly sweet and caring they are towards one another. The love between them is evident, and we are inspired by them. They are major couple goals. I'm talking about the one and only Coach Jody and king of the dad jokes, Pete Sabal. If you know anything about Pete, then you know he always brings such a fun and positive energy to the 630 crew. You can always count on him to lighten the mood when the class is dying in a wad or to crack a good dad joke that we have come to know and love him for. We are so lucky to also have his beautiful wife, Jody, on our coaching staff and team and are humbled by their love and commitment to our mission. Before we jump in, gotta do one thing. We gotta give some props and share some dad jokes from Pete himself.
That's right.
You guys ready?
He gave us his top three.
I texted him yesterday and I was like, Pete, give us your top three dad jokes, man. So here we go. Number one, Pete says, what did the buffalo say to his son when he dropped him off at school? Bye, son. Bison. Get it? Yeah.
We literally told that to Uriah and he did get it because he didn't understand what a bison was. And I was like, it was over your head, but it was a good one.
Number two, why don't scientists trust atoms? Because they make up everything. Get it? Number two. It could be better. Here we go. Number three,
this
Pete's
is his
personal favorite.
Yeah.
When does a joke become a dad joke? When it becomes apparent. Apparent. Get it? Anyways, thank you, Pete, for sending us those jokes, man. We love you guys so much. Thank you for your support for all these years you guys have been around. We are just so grateful to have you guys part of the gym and to show some love on the podcast.
They always host they've been hosting the annual Ugly Sweater Party too.
True. Yeah, that was on the screen.
Which is they're so amazing and gracious to open up their home to all of us wild animals. And we have some epic karaoke, and it's been one of my favorite traditions that we've added to Social City.
Thank you guys so much for hosting the holiday party, man.
And
we have such a
sponsoring an
blast.
episode. You guys absolutely didn't have to do that.
Yeah,
so
for
it's
sure.
Feels so loved. Thank you guys.
So it feels so good to be back. I love that we have expanded platforms that we're trying to reach and inspire people, and love all the feedback we get every time we drop a new episode. It really is heartfelt. So thank you guys so much to all of you guys who have shared, listened, watched, and supported this mission of ours. Every time we sit down to discuss upcoming episodes or guests, we always are working through the filter and mindset of how we can best support, inspire, and uplift our community inside and outside the four walls of our gym. And today is no different. We want to talk about the power of mindset and chat with two socialites that we've had the pleasure of having a front row seat to their evolution and growth.
Yeah, I'm so excited to talk about today because our network is pretty deep. We're really blessed in that way. And I would say that we definitely have some friends that we would consider, mindset professionals. But personally, as someone that spent like hundreds of hours and dollars on self-development, whether it's reading books or podcasts or having a life coach at one point or even therapy, I've always found that I get the most value and inspiration from real people that are actually on the journey. Sure. As much as I gain knowledge from the professionals, there's something very different and tangible about having someone that you know in your realm personally on the journey and on the walk because it's real and it's raw. And so today, again, like when we were talking about the power of mindset, we thought, what better way than to bring people on that are on the journey in experience? Because I think there's just so much value in that.
Yeah, for sure. I agree with you. It's like someone trying to give you advice when like, bro, you haven't walked the walk. Like, who are you trying to tell me what to do when all you've done is either read the book, but you haven't taken action to complete the mission, and that can go on all levels. It can be with mindset. It can be with, physical training, exercise. It can be the mental side of it. It can even be nutrition. You're like, how are you going to tell me how to do this when you don't have any experience in it at all. So I really love what you said there, because it does take someone who's had experience to at least gain my attention, you know, when it comes to
100%.
speaking on whatever subject it is.
It's the difference of opinion and experience. And I think there's just so much to gain and garner. And we talk about it all the time, how your circle matters. And for me, I've always gained more inspiration by finding people in my circle that are on the journey I want to be on. Or like Pete and Jody, like were talking about marriage goals. So if you want a happy marriage, surround yourself with people that love their spouse.
Yep.
If you want to find joy in your life, find people that have joy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like it's surrounding yourself in that.
Uncircumstantial joy.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So
Yeah, for
super
sure.
excited.
So without further ado, we're excited to introduce and welcome Socialites Marion Sedone and Nestor Vidanos, y'all. What up, what up? Say what up to the people, y'all.
What up, people?
Let me introduce my boys real quick. First, you're not new to us, but you're new to the podcast, so you know what we got to do. We got to hit you with the 3 questions. So just share with everyone your name, something cool on your bucket list, and then your favorite Disney classic movie.
All right. So my name, Nestor.
Hi, Nestor.
What up? What were the other ones? Just kidding. That's just how it always
I was
goes
gonna say, no
in
way.
class. On my bucket list, I would love to talk to a crowd of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
That's 100% on my bucket list. And my favorite Disney classic has to be Aladdin.
I love it.
good
Why,
one.
why 10,000? How did you come up with the number 10,000 people?
Just feels good.
Okay.
Just feels right.
I dig it.
You know?
I like
I
it because it's big.
Yeah.
It's
is
like the
big.
kind of dream
Yeah.
that scares you, and I think that those are the most inspiring, and those are the things that we should like be having big prayers, having big dreams, like the kind that really scare you, and that takes you outside of your comfort zone. I'll be there. I'm
1000%.
going to be one of the 10,000 for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be there.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1, go.
My name is Marion.
Hi,
Hey,
Marion.
What's happening? Bucket list, skydiving.
Okay.
I knew it. I knew
Yeah.
someone was going to say skydiving. It's a good one. I'm
And
afraid of
then
heights, but it's still good. It's still
Favorite
fun.
Disney movie would be Moana.
Aw,
Yeah.
Hawaii boy.
Make way.
Make way.
All right, guys. So thank you to marriage.com. We copped and cooked up some dating questions we want to ask you guys because we know we're all about being social. And we got 2 good dudes here.
That's right.
Who are single and ready to mingle.
That's right.
So we got a few questions. We're going to let Marion go first. What is your most useless talent?
Ooh, useless talent.
Yeah, useless sounds kind of like, what, you can make any talent. What kind of talent that you have that we don't know about?
Yeah. I mean, we know you can cook. This man can cook.
Oh,
He can
yeah.
serve it
For
up.
real.
Yeah.
Fire.
I say organizing.
That's a
all
great
right,
talent.
all right.
If you guys have seen on Marion's Instagram, sometimes he posts his meal prep or like his fridge, and I'm like, can you please come over and do
Yeah,
my
for
house?
sure.
This is crazy.
Fridge
so
organization.
Yes, kitchen organization.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. We have
that makes sense though.
have
As
a
a chef,
calling.
you have to have order.
You
I
do.
assume. Yeah,
For sure.
I love it.
Nestor, what you got?
Oh,
Talent. We don't want to go useless because there's no talent that's useless.
That's true. Marriage.com. You don't know what you're talking
Yeah,
about.
what y'all talking about?
I would say I'm really good with my words,
Yeah,
right? So,
true.
writing or I used to want to be a rapper back
Yeah,
in the
for
day.
sure. I was gonna say that.
Bars,
Yo,
bars.
I should have sent Quan some of Nestor's freestyler raps from what was that? 2010. What did we pull up the raps from?
Like
that day we were there?
2012,
2012.
Yeah,
Did you
yeah,
have a
yeah.
rap name or did you go by Ness?
Yeah.
Greatness.
No, Ness.
Oh, just Ness.
Never ending
Now we call-
story.
now we
on
call
Ness.
him-
We're gonna have to have Ness spit a couple bars.
Oh snap!
Yeah, he's ready. He's always ready. Quan was a rapper too, right?
Yeah.
Rappers in the building.
Let's go.
I
All right.
wanted to be a rapper and a fly girl. Neither happened, but it's
Yeah.
okay.
I mean,
Bucket list.
You still fly. You're still fly.
I wanted to be in a boy band. I mean, that's
You
what
kinda
grew up
are.
in.
Yeah.
Or an emo band, one or the other. Anyways, number 2. If you could be any kitchen appliance, what would you be and why?
Ooh,
This is a good one for
yeah,
Marion.
this
I was
is-
Yeah, it
excited.
is.
I feel like he's got a lot to contribute to this.
I want to say a pan. A pan is like very versatile,
Yeah, but what kind of pan?
like a skillet.
Non-toxic,
Like a
clearly.
non-toxic.
cast
Yeah,
iron
yeah,
pan,
yeah,
a
non-toxic.
ceramic pan.
ceramic pan, non-stick.
There you go.
Yeah, yeah.
I like it.
That's a good one.
Nestor, what you got?
Blender.
A blender?
Because I like mixing it up.
Oh,
Hey!
ladies, you hear that? He likes to mix it up, blend it up, put it all in there, and just.
I mean, that is kind of appropriate though, because Nestor is definitely the type of person. If you bring like 2 completely different groups of people, like he is the guy that will marry the 2 so nicely, you know. So I feel like
Yeah.
that's perfect.
Got blender energy.
Hey,
You got mad. You got mad. That's your
Mad
nickname. Yo,
Blender.
blender.
Yeah.
A ninja. A ninja, yo.
oh gosh.
And then the last question is, what is the one thing that either gives you like the ick or irks you or would be a deal breaker when it comes to a partner? Ness.
Oh, man. I was hoping to go second. Ooh, I don't know if it's a deal breaker. You just said gives me the ick. For some reason, all I thought of was someone who doesn't use a blinker when they drive.
Okay.
I don't know why.
I can respect that.
That's just the first
That's
thing about
annoying.
it.
Like,
You
yo,
don't use a blinker, it drives me crazy.
yeah, let me know if you're turning right or left.
Bro, I'm saying.
It's kind of rude.
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Deal breaker. You would not date a girl who didn't use a blinker.
I didn't understand the question fully.
Okay, I mean,
Well, I mean, that's going to eliminate a lot of the population.
yeah, for sure. That's funny. Mario, what you got?
Deal breaker would be like cleanliness. I need somebody who's like somewhat clean. You know?
Clean?
Yeah.
Ooh,
like,
that's a tough one because we
cleaning
usually
up after
attract
somebody.
the opposite, bro. So
Yeah.
it's gonna be someone
And
initially.
then you rub off on
yes,
them.
for sure.
Your organization habits.
Yes.
Like when O and I first started dating, I feel like he brought really great habits to my life. And I maybe balanced him out and brought some humbling habits to him when we met. He like didn't do coffee. When we drank, he like didn't drink beer or Jameson. And I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
His
for
nickname
sure.
was like vodka soda for quite some time.
That's funny.
I tried to keep it clean.
Yeah. Well,
Can I
he'd eat
cha-
like tuna packets and,
Can I
and
change my
broccoli.
answer?
Go ahead.
All right, cool. So I think mine's is if you're not family
Oriented.
Yeah, there we go. That's the word.
I
That's
got
the
you.
word.
Okay.
Yeah, but and it's you don't even have to have your family, right? You don't have to be closer, but like the people you call family, like how you are with them is super important.
Yeah, it says a lot.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel you on that.
That's good.
Those are good answers, guys.
I love
that was
it.
fun.
So slide into my DM if there's any interest. Just let us know.
I thought we were talking
Social
about personal
singles. We
development.
are. But we just
Yeah.
had to put a plug for our two favorite guys.
We always pimp out our single people.
That's
who are
right.
good people. We can't help it, man.
That's
This is what
right.
we do.
Guys.
We're the connectors, you know? As we mentioned before, we have had the pleasure of having a front row seat to the evolution and powerful mindset shift with these two guys from them first walking in the gym doors. So you guys have been with us for just over a year now.
Yeah.
Marion is like, what, a month before Nestor?
I think
Is
so.
that what it is?
Yeah.
Something
Solid.
like that.
Yeah. And I remember Marion walking in and it's super quiet,
Oh,
right?
yeah.
People tend to walk in super quiet, super shy. And after a year, you're just like, who is this guy? Like,
No,
I'm rooting and cheering for him.
seriously.
Like, he's in high-fiving everyone, dapping people up, cheering
Yeah.
people on when the workout's getting hard. And then to see you in your element a couple weekends ago at the little cookout,
Oh yeah.
that
Yeah.
was so cool to see Marion in his element just tearing it up in the kitchen.
We
serving
did a
some
little
bomb food.
Social City Supper Club is what I'm calling it.
Ooh, that's a
I
good
like
one.
that.
Yeah, you like that?
Shirts
Yeah.
on the way.
Shirts on the
Supper
way.
club.
And Marion blessed us with his gift of cooking, and it was phenomenal.
It was.
And it was so
Thank you.
cool to see you in your element, and like that's your space. But I will say the transformation that I remember from like day one when you walked in with Julie to like where you're at now. I literally feel like you're like a different person, like evolved into a much more outgoing, confident person. I mean, again, if you're ever in my class and I realize that you might be a little shy, I don't do it to pick on people. I do it to like welcome them in and maybe be a little obnoxious. But the difference in when I first started coaching you to now, it's like you've literally blossomed
Yeah,
into
he
this
has.
little socialite.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
It's
Caterpillar
awesome.
into a butterfly.
Totally.
Can I use that? Is that a
Yeah.
good analogy?
Sure.
And then my guy Nestor walked into the gym and it was like instant bond connection. I was like, man, I like this guy. He is on a good path. He's got good energy. You could just feel it radiate right out the gate. And I think that's a special gift that you have. I mean, not many people have to be as
Totally.
welcoming and to be a connector and to provide constructive criticism, whether it's good. I mean, it's the truth. Like, and you share that, you know?
And it's always out of
And,
love. It's always out of
Yeah,
love.
for
Like
sure.
I remember when O first came home after he met, he's like, man, this guy came in the gym. I can tell we were just like vibing. I was like, oh, like fast friends. It was awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We're excited to have you guys on. We're going to ask you guys a handful of questions. First one is, where were you guys before walking into Social City, and how would you define the mindset you were in at that time?
You want to go first? You want to go first? All right.
Where were you at before walking into Social City, and how would you define your mindset?
So I would say that I was like I started a journey in sobriety like for like 2 years before I came into Social City.
Okay.
And so I was doing a lot of bodybuilding training, right?
Yeah.
And that was great. But what sucks is when you do that, like it's pretty lonely, right? You know, like you're just focused, you got your headphones in. And so I did that consistently for about 2 years and I was in a slump and I was like, man, I wish I can do something. I got to figure something out. And a friend of mine just kept telling me for months, go do CrossFit. You'll love CrossFit. Go do CrossFit. You'll love CrossFit. And I'm like, nah, I can't. I hear you get injured.
Of
That's always the
course,
big
of
one, right? Like, I
course.
hear
Yeah.
you get injured. And then one day I was like, all right, I'll look up a couple. I looked up like 4 different gyms.
Okay.
No joke, right? Like I'm at the red light and CrossFit's intimidating.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like,
for
I'm not sure. I don't know. And I'm like, God, give me a sign. And running past is David Goggins. Right? I'm not even
Insane
joking.
story.
Can't make this up.
You know?
And
I know.
my roommate points it. I was like, that's David Goggins. I'm like, bro, that's a sign. Like, and then I turned in, it was your gym, and Omar was there. He's like, yeah, bro, come for the week. I'll give you the week for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was great. And I went to the other 2 gyms and it just wasn't the same vibe. Like literally it was like instant, like, all right, I think this guy's cool. Like,
I love that.
Yeah,
been
you
there
guys
ever
are
since.
fast friends.
Yeah.
What a crazy story, right?
Yeah.
I
To
know.
be at the gym, you're like, I don't know if I want to go in, and like Goggins, yeah, like for real.
O runs at the gym. O's on a running journey if you guys follow his Instagram. And he's constantly getting people honking at him. And I'm convinced it's because Goggins kind of runs in that area
Yeah.
sometimes. And
Yeah,
I think
for
people
sure.
definitely are like, did Goggins get some highlights? He grow some hair out?
Right, I
Let's meet
know.
him.
I told him I had this thought of shaving my head and just watching Goggins' videos, just mocking his running style with a little water bottle in hand. But I have to have like a film crew so people can honk. 'cause they know
I'll
it's
do
real.
it. I'm part of the crew.
ready?
I got
That's
you.
it. That's it.
I got you.
I love it.
Marion, what about you?
I've been into LVAC
Okay.
like for a little while, but I was never like motivated to do anything. I'd spend like 3 hours not doing anything.
Isn't that crazy how you
Yeah.
can spend that much time
Yeah,
at
right.
like a Globo gym? You're like, wait a second. I just spent 3 hours. And not that there's anything wrong with that. That's your style of training. But the difference of efficiency of like coming in for an hour, getting your butt whooped and,
Straight up.
and leaving is,
Yeah.
it's nice if you busy. Just saying.
Yeah.
Facts.
Time
sure.
efficient.
For sure. But me and Julie was kind of bored on July 3rd, and July 4th was that workout, our first ever workout.
Yeah.
And then we're like, yeah, let's try CrossFit. And then you were the first page that we seen on Instagram.
Nice.
And then we're like, yeah, I mean, there's
There's
can't
that
lose
vibe.
anything. Yeah.
So
there's
you
got
guys,
vibe.
you guys came on July 4th?
We came July 4th. That
What,
was our
what workout
first.
was that?
was it
what
the
do we do? It was,
1776?
It's like a hard workout, I'm
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
You
it was
came on a holiday. That was a
Yeah,
hard
Yeah,
workout.
that was our first one too. Like in a minute.
Holiday workouts are always the hardest ones.
Baptized by fire.
Yeah, we're like, sorry about it, guys. And then how would you define like what your mindset was before coming into the gym?
I think I was like very complacent. I kind of just stood still, not really looking for more until it was like, oh, I gotta do something with my life, you know?
Yeah.
And then it's like, yeah, like let's try physical. Like let's try to improve my physical needs. And then it was more so the gym kind of like helped me bring that out. And then it's like, okay, this gym is not only like for physical, but like also mental.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Emotionally also, and then like everything in between.
Because
Yeah.
you'd been in Vegas for 2 years before you came in?
Yeah. I was like always scared to go back to the gym. And then it was the 6:30 class that like brought me out.
Mm.
And I was like, yeah, like this is
Oh,
my
yeah.
vibe. This is
Your
my
jam.
vibe.
6:30 is a vibe for sure. It's funny
100%.
because each class has such its own like ecosystem and personality
Yeah.
and whatnot. And
Yeah.
it's like the 5 a.m.ers. I always call them my savages because they're like up early,
For sure.
after it, ready to get
Yeah.
it. 6:30s. They're just like a fun, goofy group, but they still get after it. Have you ever tried to run shuttle runs next to Marion or bear crawling? We were talking
Yeah,
about that.
sure.
It's like, bro, I didn't know we were like going so ham.
Animals.
Like the morning classes, we got like our cool moms. Noon is like the dude squad most of the time.
It is for sure.
And then the 5:30, same thing. Like they have their own thing. It's really cool. And then on Saturday, it's this melting pot of everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get FOMO if you don't make the Saturday.
Yeah.
That was me
100%.
this morning. I was like,
100%.
oh, I have to miss it. I walk in, everyone's so sweaty. I was like, oh, I'm so jealous.
What happened? Fill me in. Give
I
me a
know.
recap. All
What
right,
was the
guys.
workout?
So, was there a catalyst that inspired change? Was there a moment? Was there a person or incident in your life?
Go first now. Your turn.
Yeah, it really
Yeah,
hit
speak a little
me-
closer to the mic. There you
It
go.
really
Get up
hit
on
me
it.
hard when I was kind of just at work. I was hungover.
Yeah.
By the way, yeah. I mean, we went out like every week, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then like brunch on Sunday.
Oh, of course. We remember that rotation.
Yeah,
O and
yeah.
I were professionals.
Yeah, we've been there before.
Yeah, and then it got to the point where I got into work and I started throwing up in the bathroom.
Oh, man.
And it just started affecting like my productivity and like everything at work. And then it's like I got written up like twice. And then I was like, yeah, I gotta change. And then it wasn't hard for me to get convinced by like other people around me. So it was like, yeah, I'll go out. Like I'll have
Proximity.
a shot before work, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll have a shot after work. And then it was one, financially not smart.
Yeah.
Mm.
You know,
I
was-
think about that. I'm like, we could have like had a second property with all the drinks that I bought for
Yeah,
everybody over
sure.
the years,
Yeah.
thinking that was like, I'm being so gracious and like
Yeah.
hooking everybody up.
Yeah,
and
for
then
sure.
you're drunk and it's like, yeah, who cares? Fine, another round. Then you look at your bank account and you're like, what had happened was,
Yeah.
I know it's funny, as soon as you stop buying drinks, a lot of those people stop coming around. Isn't that on? Life lessons you don't need to go through if you haven't already. Okay.
for sure.
Sometimes it's best to go through them because then that's the way you learn, you know?
True.
Facts.
Experience, I guess
Yeah.
experience. We just
Yeah.
talked about that. So I guess by a couple rounds.
Yeah, for sure. What about you?
Okay. So if I think
Catalyst or
about
something
it,
that inspired change, a moment, a person.
I think of two of them, right? Like one of them is 3 years ago when I stopped drinking.
Okay.
And I was drinking and doing extracurricular activities, right? You know, the ones that you find in Vegas that everyone thinks it's okay.
Yeah.
Right. And I just felt like, you know what? Like I was on a 48-hour bender, like gambling. And this is when it was COVID. So I was getting money from the government because we were on furlough or unemployed, right? And just wasting government money, gambling. And I was just like, you know what? What am I doing? Like I literally have zero purpose.
Yeah.
And I was like, I need to change. So I was like, I'm going to stop drinking because that's what I did every day.
Yeah.
Right. And then that just leads to everything else.
Of
Right.
course.
For sure.
So then, I stopped drinking. For 2 years, I was working out really tough, but then, you know, in roller coaster, right? Roller coaster up and down. So then I started hitting my down and I'm like, dude, like I'm lonely. Cause like when you stop drinking and all your friends are drinking friends, right? It's like
changes.
Really, it's not that you don't love them. It's just that, you know, you don't have the same.
It's not the common ground that you bonded over. And it's not even necessarily a judgment for other people too.
No.
It's like even like the people I used to party with, like I'm not saying they like are partiers and they have a problem. It was just a change of scenery for me that I needed and that our lifestyle changed and it changes your circle.
100%. So yeah, I'm lonely, right? And I'm like, I got to try something. And a friend goes, try CrossFit. So then I jumped in, I did CrossFit, and I'm going to tell you, it's been the best, not just doing CrossFit, but the people that I'm surrounded by every single day.
Totally.
It's just like, I'm blessed.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's been one of our biggest reasons and purpose behind the podcast is to give people like a backstage look on what CrossFit is like. Because people hear about it and they're like, oh, I hear the dangers of it and that people get injured. But like, I want this platform to be able to share the stories and transformation that happens in the mind.
Yes,
you know?
it's between
and it's
the
more
ears.
than just physical. Yeah.
100%.
Because we all, you know what I mean? Like, I think people suffer alone. And until we can come on this platform and be vulnerable and share, like, man, I was in a dark place. Like I was alone. Like I was drinking all the time. I felt like I had no purpose.
Yeah.
And if people can resonate with that and go, okay, like guys,
Been there.
I don't care to go to this CrossFit gym to work out, but I'm in a hole and I need help getting out of it. Maybe
Facts.
some people there will share some of their positive energy and like bring me up and out of this.
And I commend you both for just being so vulnerable, even answering that question, because it's really hard to recognize when we're in the valley, especially when we're a part of the problem, like ourselves, like our own personal decisions, the choices that we're making. And I think there's so much power in vulnerability and connection. And I think whether it's the vulnerability of like struggling during a workout where it's like, you can't hide when you're dying in a workout. There's nowhere to hide. And in the beginning, that might feel really anxious ridden. You're working out and it's like, oh my gosh, like I can't catch my breath. I'm sweating so hard. And then there's something that does happen once you let that guard down and you're like, you know what, man, everyone's suffering. Emotionally, I think that same thing happens when you share vulnerably. It allows people to connect and allows people to not feel so alone. So I commend you guys, for recognizing it and then also getting into action to do something different. We live in a city, especially if your story resonates in any area of that, whether it's loneliness or it's making bad decisions because of the environment that you're in, because of the nature of your job or your circle. I think it's a huge testimony to hear from both of you that when you make change will happen.
Ooh,
and it only happens when you get uncomfortable. And it happens really around surrounding yourself with people that emulate what you want. It's very, very difficult to grow in soil that is not fed, right? If you're around people that aren't on the path that you want to be on, there's no one that you can look at and say, man, I want to be like them, or, oh, that's so inspiring, they do that. It's not a comment against them, but it's a comment to yourself that it's time for growth. And proximity is the most powerful form of influence, because then it just naturally rubs off on you.
100%. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, boo. Tell them about it.
Tell them about it. Mama said get new friends that emulate
for sure.
emulate the goals that you have. It's so true though. I mean, whether it's running, whether it's dietary food things, it is so much easier to be on a path of growth if you surround yourself with people that support the mission, support the goal. People, again, we talk about generational friendships. We can talk about people in different growth cycles, people that have gone before you. And then when you're inspiring other people, it keeps you on the path. Like we talked about, Nestor, I think it was the last podcast about the gratitude journal and how your influence trickled to which trickled to me, which is trickled out. And that's because of proximity, and it rubs off on you. And that stuff is where change happens. It's so hard to change by yourself. Not impossible.
100%.
Yeah.
It's not impossible. But man, you want to fast track it? Get yourself a tribe and a community that emulate what you want.
Yeah, so real quick on the pink journal, because Nestor has his here. I see it. Pink journal. We've showed him before. I was asking my guy Ness one day, I was like, man, my discipline and my daily wins, I like the way they are and where they're at, but my morning routine kind of sucks. I hate that. Like, I wake up, the alarm goes off on my phone, and then I immediately check notifications and emails and delete the emails and check your Instagram and check your Facebook. And I was like, I don't like that as a morning routine. It just doesn't feel right instinctually, you know? And he was like, you ever thought about a journal? And I was like, I mean, not really, but I'm not opposed to it.
Yeah.
Like, I'd be down doing.
Open to experience.
And then this guy brings me in a gratitude journal, and the Pink Journal Club is what we called it.
Yeah.
It was a gratitude journal, that has
You know,
affirmations.
we'll link that in the show notes for you guys. If you do not have a good morning routine and you want something super simple, this journal changed the game for us. I'm a year in, O's like 3 months ahead of me, and the mindset change that happens just in putting at the forefront the things that you're grateful for, because then it becomes this Easter egg hunt throughout your day of the things that you're thankful for. And you start to notice things that you would have written off before because you have this habit of recounting the day. And some days, listen, are hard days, but when you can still find the glimmering moments that you're grateful for, it changes the mindset and it rewires your brain. Yeah. So we'll add that to the show notes.
Can I also say, one, I'm so grateful that I brought this to O, but y'all guys took it to the next level. I didn't know that the Fosters did challenges until the Pink Journal. And
Extreme.
I'm like, look, it's hard to journal every day, right? Even me, myself, that I've given out probably 20 of these journals, right? And I fall on consistency.
Yeah.
So pick it up, try it, do something new. And then if you fail, it's okay. Just try again.
Yeah, you just pick up the next day. Because I'll go through stints where, on the morning's busy, the kids got up early and I'll miss my morning. But then sometimes that habit, I'll be like, because I'm OCD. So I'm like, well, I didn't write in the morning. And I don't want to write on the PM page because then I left the AM blank. And then I force myself to break that cycle. And having other people that do it again, there's almost this accountability of are you journaling?
Yeah, for
Have you been journaling?
Facts. Yeah.
It makes a big difference.
Marion, you got a journal, yeah?
I do.
Do you have a pink journal?
I do have.
Pink Journal Club.
Pink Journal Club. Let's go.
Did someone give you a pink journal?
No, I bought it.
Okay, cool. I couldn't remember.
Nice.
But Nestor was going to
give you one of these.
Now you have your secondary one.
Maybe you're close to finishing your 90 days.
Yeah.
There's the next pink journal for
And we've
you.
been saving ours, and it's cool because I have all of our books displayed on shelves as you walk up our stairs. And so now we have this collection of completed pink journals.
Yeah, for
love
sure.
that.
And it's
There's
a really
seven
cool. And so when people have come over and visited, they're like, "What are those?" Because it's just this stack of pink books, and it's a cool. It's a reminder to us too of just the journey and the commitment
Love
to the
that.
discipline.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
For sure.
Do you ever and we and O talked about it too. Have you ever just grabbed one randomly and went to a page and looked at your quote?
Oh, yes. I mean, I'll look at the difference too of how I've evolved, because I think we spoke about this before. When it's writing the affirmations, I used to always write you. Not I. And I didn't even realize I had done that. And what a mindset shift that was in reading, because I would say, what's your affirmations? And I'd say, you are smart, you are capable, you are loved. And he's like, well, who's you? I'm like,
Yeah.
I literally was almost disassociating the positive mindset thinking, because my nature is to be a little bit more of a self-critical person, a little bit more of intrusive thoughts than O. Sometimes I'll share things with O's like, you thought about that? I'm like, oh, never mind. I sound like a psychopath. But it made me realize something. It was such a nuance of a change, but man, the difference in claiming it. I am. I am healing. I am worthy. I am loved. I am a good mom. I am a good friend.
Yeah.
Those things matter. And then we also see it in our kids because now they're journaling at night with us too.
Sure.
That's been a new thing.
And I like when Nestor does his affirmations because you read them out loud.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Because there's the list on the one side, and it has, I kind of see it as a positive and semi-negative, right? I'll check them off in the morning on the positive side, I am happy, I am proud, I am hopeful, I'm loving, and the list keeps going.
Yeah.
But I say it out loud because the words you speak literally are so powerful. And if you can consistently have the routine of saying these powerful words, you're going to feel them.
Yeah.
The one word that I get confused with on this one, though, is content.
Yeah.
That's what I noticed when I started doing
You know what
the
I think
journal.
about though is
I
the
will
song
be
I will
content
be content
in any circumstance.
No, I'm not gonna sing. Sorry about it. Not the singer in my family.
But I take that content, are you content in any circumstance.
Ooh, that's
Do you have
powerful.
Yeah.
peace?
That's
Marion, what's your
powerful.
favorite like affirmation? What's the thing that you write
Ooh.
probably most consistently?
I am healing.
Ooh, that's
I
a
am
great
healing.
one.
Yeah, for
Absolutely.
Claiming healing, I think, has more power than people realize. And I think trauma is this word that gets thrown around quite a bit. It's become this like buzzword. And I think there's definitely a difference between like true trauma and having hard circumstances. And it's not to minimize it, but I do think we spend so much time societally looking at trauma and obsessing over trauma and not obsessing over healing. And the fact that that happens within first between the ears, and you have to commit to the path, but then to claim it. Not I will heal.
Yeah.
I am healing. I am
Yes.
in the process in that action. So because I write that
love
every
that.
day, especially I had a flare that like took me out a couple weeks ago.
I like how you do the cross-eyed thing.
I-
I didn't notice that until the podcast. I'm like, there's probably once or twice every episode she's like, I was like, oh.
I didn't notice.
Anyways, it's her thing. It's okay, bro.
Can I read my
I love you for it.
affirmation? Is that cool?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I wrote this today, and I felt like it was good because like I haven't been disciplined with my book. So it's the door to discipline is unlocked by the key of consistency.
Ooh,
Say it again. Say it one more time.
The door of discipline is unlocked by the key of consistency.
That's good.
Right?
Don't be good.
That's a quote. On a
Be
card.
great. That's
Good,
the other
man.
quote.
That's Nestor's gift, man. He's good with words, man. He's good with
10,000
writing,
people.
pen
I'm
and
telling
paper.
you, I'm going to be one of the 10,000.
Yeah, for sure. All right, moving on to our next question. Who or what has been your biggest source of inspiration?
So I would say, hands down, 100%, my biggest source of inspiration is my mom. Right? Like I'm a mama's boy,
Pulling
true
at
and
the
true.
mama heart.
I tell you right now. Like you guys think I'm kind, you guys think I love. Like the way my mom loves is unlike any, and she doesn't ask for a thing,
Yeah.
like at all ever. Like she sent me a box.
Give us the mom voice. How she talks.
Ay, Chucho. Like, I'm telling you, she goes, Ay, Chucho, I sent you a box. Did you get it? No, I'm like, no. She's like, pero got protein. And when I went to go visit, like, she's just like, ay, mira, Chucho, pero did you have protein?
Protein.
And that's not really
That's a
how
good
she
mom.
sounds, but it is to me.
I love that. I love that.
That's so
good,
good.
man.
They
What
do as you do, not as you say. And I think that you're a great testament to that.
I appreciate that.
For sure. What about you, Marion?
We talked about this, Ness, yeah.
Okay.
And it was like we bonded because our commonality was both our mom.
Mm.
You know, during Momentum,
Facts.
we talked. We talked about being like inspired by our moms and like just being like family oriented in a way.
Yeah.
And yeah, so
I think we got to see the love. I was following your journey on Instagram when you went to the Philippines with your mom because Marianne was born in the Philippines, grew up in Maui, and then came to Vegas. But recently went back. It was your grandfather that passed.
Yeah.
And just getting to follow your posts, it reminded me of when we went to Cambodia because culturally it's so different, the value of family in those spaces and getting to see just the adoration you had for your mom, even just on social, like the moments you were capturing. Like as a mom, whenever I see kids that love their parents, I'm always like trying to take a page out of that book. Like, what did they do? How did they impress that upon them? This like love and admiration that you guys both have for your mothers, because it's so evident. It's so evident in the way that you guys treat others and the way that you love and the compassion. And I think that that's kind of the gift of what good moms give.
Absolutely.
Not that dads can't do that, but it's like moms are the nurturers and the lovers and the empathy, and to see the fingerprint of them like on you guys is really special.
Mariano, I need a mom impression. I also want a mom impression of how your mom like saw you on this trip because you got fit, man. You got
For
the
real.
shares,
I didn't
bro.
even think about that.
Yeah.
Like, what's your
Yeah, how much
what's
your
his
mom
response?
impression?
You've lost like what, 30 pounds?
32.
Woo, no, 32. Whoop, whoop.
No big deal.
He always like
beast.
makes the like before and afters so small. I'm like zoom in.
I know,
I'm
for
like zooming
sure.
in. I see some abs.
We
I
wanna
want to
see
see
that.
it. Put it on the profile.
What's your mom impression though?
Oh no, she's always just like she's squeezing my arm. She's like, "Ay, anak ko is too big." It's so funny.
The muscles are too big.
It's fine.
That's Asian moms. I love
What
it.
was it? Was it last week or the week before, the week when we did what, 2 weeks ago? My mom was like, "Omar, it's too hot out there to be running, man.
Oh, yeah.
They're taking the kids. They gonna get a heat stroke." I'm like, "Ma, chill. I got this."
And that's your mom's love language,
It
though.
is,
You know
for
what
sure.
I mean?
Love it.
Yeah.
I love it so much.
All right, give us your top 3 daily wins. Like, what are musts that you have to complete?
So I would say top 3 daily wins. One is if I'm in my journal morning and day. I mean morning and night, right? So if I do that, that's a super win. It's
Yeah.
not even a little win. That's a super win,
Yep,
right?
Yep.
Going to the gym.
Yep.
And especially when you wake up and it's the first thing you do and your body tells you, sit in this bed, lay in this bed. It's so comfortable.
For sure.
Because the bed is the most comfortable right in the morning. And I would say my third one would be talking to my mom. Like if I get to talk to my mom that day, that is 100% a win.
I love that.
Yeah.
Those are good, man.
Yeah.
What about you, Mario? 3 wins.
3 wins would be gym.
Yeah.
Gym first thing in the morning. Gotta get that in. Breakfast, making myself something to eat.
Okay.
And then during breakfast, I'll like call my parents. I'll call my brother.
I'm like,
Proud
I'm taking
parents.
notes, man. I hope my kids
You're
want to
waiting
talk to
for
me on
the
the
day
phone.
you're
Yeah.
on.
This is
Like
why
calling all
Marion's
the
my
time.
brother, bro. You notice it?
love
Like,
that.
it's literally the same list.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Love it,
bro. Bros.
Love it.
I'm inspired. I'm like, I call my mom every day.
So breakfast, movement, call parents.
Yeah.
Oh,
What
that's
you got,
fun.
boo? What are your wins?
Journaling,
Yeah.
prayer,
Ooh.
and time with God. Like at some point throughout the day, in my Bible is
Yeah.
like the biggest win because like that's when I feel the most connected. Even if it's like reading Old Testament and it's a little scary. I just finished Deuteronomy, so if you know, you know.
I don't know.
Oh, trust me.
Oh, we'll get there.
We'll get there.
Okay.
And then cold plunging. Cold plunging because
Fire.
it never gets easier and it's always hard. And it always reminds me that like if it's just the action, if I get into action, that's where the motivation comes from. And so that, because it's the thing I don't want to do, always helps. As corny as is, yes, we know the Fosters love to cold plunge. I mean, we're still waiting to have a party. So whenever you guys are ready, maybe we'll do like a seasoned rap party.
Yeah, for
cold
sure.
plunge party at
Cold plunge
Refresh.
party. We can go to Refresh.
I like
for
it.
Sure. Yeah. Plunge.
What
pray,
about you?
Read Bible, daily movement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got to get it going.
Yeah.
Love that.
Movement has
Yeah.
got to be a part of it.
All right. So, what's the greatest piece of advice you could give to someone who may feel stuck or like they're not progressing in life? Kind of how you guys were prior to joining the gym.
I want to say take it one day at a time.
Yeah.
I always tell myself this, like hard days, I'm like, do your best today, and then like do even better tomorrow.
I love that.
Yeah,
1%
it gets me
better.
going.
And it feels tangible when you break it down like that. I think sometimes when people think about transformation and change, we think about it feels like a long journey because a lot of times it is. And I think that's such great advice of just like one bite at a time, one decision at a time, one win at a time. And you knock those down. There's going to be some days that maybe it doesn't go the way that you want. But if you're only taking it a day at a time, that feels a lot easier than this like, I'm 90-day transformation. It feels
for
like
sure.
so
Facts.
much pressure on
Yeah.
it.
And I'm like one step even behind that when I do running. I'm just like, just one step at a time.
Yeah.
That's all
Yeah.
it
I
is.
love
like,
that.
How do you do this? Like, how do you run 8 miles like you did the other day? It's like,
You don't, it's
just one step at a time,
Yeah.
and that's it. When you want to
Facts.
quit, just one step at a time. And that one
Yeah.
step at a time turns into one day at a time. You don't have to look at it on a big grand scale
Yeah.
of a 90-day challenge or whatever. It's like, man, I'm just going to do this.
And then it goes
Show up,
faster
keep
too.
showing up.
So that's
Yeah, for
great
sure.
advice. I love that.
Sweet.
What about you, Ness?
I think that like I literally just went back into a memory when I worked a show in San Francisco and I saw a friend that I only see in San Francisco. And she goes, man, Ness, I just need a hug. And I gave her a big hug. And she goes, dude, like I'm in a place that like I hate right now. Like I'm so frustrated with myself. And I literally looked at her and I said, great, I love that for you. And she was so confused. I'm like, that is amazing because now you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, right? And she goes, yeah. I'm like, now what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
Right?
sick
Like,
and
what's your
tired of being
next
sick and tired.
move, right?
Yeah.
You know what I think about? This is like the only thing I did Weight Watchers like 100,000 years ago. And there was one thing that they did that always stuck with me. And it was not the diet plan. Let's just say that. But the very first day they give you a small red stick.
Okay.
And they call it the final, or it's a straw, and it's the final straw. And they tell you to tape it somewhere that you see every day. And I think about that just as a visual symbol of like you tape it.
I love that.
But and some people do it on their fridge if food's the weakness, or their mirror if self-image is the weakness. And it's a reminder to them of the moment that they decided that was the last straw. And it's I have remembered that forever.
I love
Again, like
that.
I'm not endorsing the program, but that mindset shift I think is so helpful because we all get to that moment and that point in whatever it is.
Yeah.
Behaviors, habits, hang-ups, fitness, whatever that might be. And then sometimes we get past that moment of being really grounded in that feeling, and then we easily slip back into old habits and hangups, and that visual always helped me. So I mean, I'm not saying do Weight Watchers, but maybe buy yourself a little straw and tape it somewhere and remind yourself what it is.
I 100%. I think visuals are huge, right?
Yeah.
So when I started with sobriety, like one of the biggest things, I'm like, okay, was my hair, right? And my hair is always shorter than Marion's, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need to, if I have a drink I had to cut my hair. And it's been like 3 years strong, right? So
Oh, got it.
visual, like I agree.
That's
Visual
cool.
is
I didn't know
huge.
that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
The hair, his Samson.
Yeah, true, Samson.
His strength. How does it feel now that you have shifted your mindset and focus? Like, how do you feel about yourself? Like, explain to the people.
Yeah, like what was the self-talk like before? Like what would have been the, maybe not like the negative affirmation, but the self-talk before versus where you guys are now? Marion, you go first.
I want to say like before I would always go day to day,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, I'll just get through work, maybe I have a shot after work. But like now it's like it's easier to get through the day. I'm not forcing myself to get through the day,
I love that.
And it's like my mindset is where I'm like at peace with myself.
love
I'm
that.
like very kind, more kind to myself now.
Yeah,
than
as you
ever.
should be.
I'm,
'Cause
like,
you
more
would die.
confident,
You would die, Marion. You don't even know. What about you, Ness?
I had a big victim's mentality, right? Like oh, it's not fair. Like everyone has this that I don't have, and
Yeah.
you know, like I learned in the process that like having a victim mentality only comes from seeing it, right? Like and being around it, and to change it, you need to be around people who don't see themselves that way.
Totally.
And I think that was the biggest thing that I've
That's
learned. in
so
that
big,
process.
though.
Yeah, it is.
I don't think people realize. I mean, listen, bad circumstances happen to good people
Facts.
all the time. And I think a lot of times it's the enemy just trying to knock you down, especially when you respond to it. Then they show a little bit of vulnerability. They'll knock on that door even harder. But I think it says so much, again, to have enough self-awareness and vulnerability to own it. Where it's like, listen, it's unfortunate this happened. There's tragedies that happen, but what are you going to do about it? And it's okay to have the feeling, like have the moment, have the feeling, go through that process. But then afterwards, like no one is gonna, what do they say? No one is coming to save
No
you.
one's coming to
No one's
save
coming
you.
to save you.
Yeah.
And then in a lot of part, it's like no one needs to save you.
Yeah.
right? Like literally, what you went through is what you grew through, and
Yeah.
it helped staple you to who you actually are.
Yeah.
Was
So
it-
when you're facing an obstacle or a slump, like what is a habit or thing you do to get you out of that?
I talk like talking to somebody about how I'm feeling is so important, because when you're just talking to yourself,
Yep.
it's you can get into that negative, like, oh, well, you suck, like, you know, like you're not gonna
Sure.
get any
You
better.
messed up. You could have done better.
Yeah.
Totally.
And like, you know, when you have a group, like your group is so important.
Yeah.
Right. You know, so like when you have like me and O talk all the time,
Yeah.
and
For
like,
sure.
you know, I've cried, and then O has been in positions where he told me things and I'm like, man, and it's great when you see someone who not necessarily has something that you want, but you see him walking a path that you
Yeah.
want to walk. Right. Like I see it, like you're a gym owner, like, you know, you're a father, you're a God-fearing man, you're great to your wife. Right. Like, you know, these are all, I don't have those things yet. Like, so to
Yet.
be able to see it,
That's right.
Yeah,
Claim it.
yeah,
Yeah. That's
like,
right.
like, you know, that's so important. So like to talk about your feelings with someone that you know is not going to steer you in the wrong direction, right?
Yeah, and to be able to feel comfortable enough to do that. I think we live in a world that has a false sense of connection because we're always connected via social or your phones or text messages, and we've really taken away the power of true vulnerability and connection and conversation. And something I've always appreciated about you. Nestor and I will go back and forth because I'm an open book, sometimes too much, but it's the way that I operate, because it's the way that I connect with people. And I think there's so much value in that, especially for men. We don't talk about that a lot. I know Momentum, you guys covered that. And the change that came out of that group, while you might have let it, it really happened because of the collective mindset of all of those men to be vulnerable enough to connect and to not feel alone, and the power that came out of that. I mean, we're seeing the dividends of that, of you guys. And again, it was just a platform and an opportunity, but it almost gave permission to everyone else. And there's something really powerful about when you are vulnerable or you're willing to share, you're really willing to really connect, you're giving permission to other people to do the same. And I think sometimes you got to go first.
That's good.
For people.
100%.
Sweet, guys. We're going to close it out with Obsession of the Week. What you got, Boo? Go first.
So my obsession of the week, okay, I am like a baller on a budget. I don't normally like to spend money on self-care, but I've really, really been loving Keratis's 8-hour hair serum. It's like a thing that you put in your hair at night, ladies. It's a little expensive, but a little bit goes a long way. And I'm just saying, I really love it.
There you go.
So,
Love that.
Yeah.
Yay.
Take care of the hair, girl.
That's right.
What you got, Marion?
I'd say frozen fruit. For some
Frozen
reason.
fruit.
Oh, what
Yeah.
kind in particular? I love a frozen cherry.
Yeah.
Mm.
The frozen grapes.
Have you
lemon
tried
juice.
the sour ones everyone's been talking about?
The cotton candy ones?
No, they're like at Sprouts. I guess they've gone viral. They're the like sour frozen grapes.
Yeah,
Apparently
I
they're
haven't tried
fire.
them yet.
Sour grapes.
Yeah.
Sounds dope.
Is that real? Is that a real thing? They
Yeah,
inject
I-
them with.
You can tell O's not on TikTok, but you already
I'm
know,
not.
y'all.
Too old. What you got, Mario? Or Nestor?
I would say my obsession of the week has been like an obsession from last month. It's running.
Mm.
Right. I'm at 8 point. I'm doing
I
this for-
can't.
I'm at
8.76.
8.67 miles.
Out
Right?
of what? 50 is the goal this month?
I think I'm at 26 out of 50.
Yeah.
But that's like- that's-
8.67.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the
So
longest
Nestor's
I've gone.
notorious. He loves to mess with my OCD because he posts his map my run, and it's always like 8.27, and I'm like, you couldn't run the 0.23 to make it an 8.5
Yeah, make that
because you'll catch me in front of our house just running up and down,
Yeah,
and
for
up
sure.
and down until it's even, and then I stop it really fast.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
That's
Same.
my
I do
that's
the
my
same
control
thing.
issue.
Yeah. I would say my obsession of the week is going to be this liquid death. Squeeze to death. It's orange flavor. This is pretty tasty.
Yeah, shout out to JC.
Not gonna lie, shout out to JC for hooking us up with some liquid death. That lime or what
The
is it,
severed lime is
Severed lime,
fired,
green
and the
one's pretty good
cherry
too.
because
Yeah,
you know
they're pretty bomb.
cherry.
So yeah, gratitude. What are you grateful for this week, boo?
I am super grateful. This morning we had such a magical morning. I bought the kids a hummingbird feeder and we put it in the backyard, and we have this little family of hummingbirds.
True.
And so O came down this morning. We got up a little bit earlier, and I had music playing for the kids outside, and they literally are dancing around, and the hummingbirds are just like swooping down
that's
like
so
all
cool.
through the backyard. And it was just so simple, but it was such a magical moment. And to see the excitement in my kids
Yeah.
of just nature. Uriah's out there like naming them. So now there's Stampede, Anna, and little Elsa.
Yeah,
so
for
we've
sure.
named the little family of hummingbirds. And
I
it's
walked
my
downstairs
favorite
and these
thing.
guys are like playing music and they're like dancing with the hummingbirds, and it just like brought me so much happiness. To
Yeah.
see
I
how
love
happy
that.
they were.
Yeah, it
That
was
cool.
awesome.
What you got, Mario? What you grateful for, man?
Ooh, both of you. I mean, you guys created this community that feels so welcomed in, so loved, so supported.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like,
We're lucky to have you, man.
We're super. I mean, I'm grateful for both of you too. That goes without saying.
What you got, Ness?
I am grateful for the people that God has helped surround me with. Right.
Amen.
I really do believe that like I'm on such a great path, and it's because of who He surrounded me with. He put me in a time of loneliness, right?
Yeah.
And He did that on purpose for me to appreciate like the people He was going to put in my life when He did. Now I go to church with you guys.
Yeah.
That's such a
And he holds our
blessing.
seats
for
every
sure.
week because
Yeah, he
fosters are always late.
For sure.
Always.
Not
Yeah.
always, but you gotta check the kids in.
Yeah.
I was there. I was there shooting. So
That's
I met
true.
them,
That's true.
you know?
I'm always late.
Yeah.
I'll
sure.
claim it.
But yeah,
I'm late.
grateful for the surrounding of the people.
Yeah.
Mm.
I love that, man. Amen.
What about you?
I'm grateful for Refresh Cold Plunge.
Yes.
I had reached out to those guys and was like, hey, man, I'm on coming up on day 200. I think it'd be cool to come by and like celebrate at your guys' studio. And they were like, yeah, man, come on by. We'd love to have you. They have been following me. I don't know how. I guess I was
No, from
talking.
the from
and
the
he said, yeah, he
page,
said he
right?
followed
Car.
me through cars first. So he's like, what's funny is I've got this Mercedes, and I started following you through the car page, and I've got this window cleaning company. And then I opened this up, and then you
It
know,
was
I
it was something on the podcast because you had mentioned Shermack, and
Yeah.
funny enough, Nico, who owns Refresh, knows my dad, and my dad mentored him a little bit through a networking group for his window washing business about
Yeah.
raising his prices because he was worth more than what he was charging.
Yeah.
And then Vegas is such a small world, but then he was so gracious to have us in for O's 200. And tell him what he did.
Yeah,
for
so
you.
I came in, he's showing us a spot, and then turned over to the plunge that I was going to get in,
Yeah.
and had the 200 balloons, like
That's
a
so dope.
200, and I was like, what?
Yeah.
I felt so stoked, man. Made me feel so special. So shout out to Refresh Cold Plunge, man. I appreciate you guys. That made me feel so special. I still feel special about it.
I know. If you guys are
Right.
looking to get into cold plunging or you want to test it out, we can't recommend that space enough. They have 3 different pools at 3 different temperatures,
Yep.
and then it's located on Fort Apache in Patrick. Funny enough, 2 suites down from our original
Old gym,
space,
yep.
which was just super cool to kind of be back there and see even how that complex has evolved. So go support those guys. Really, really good people, good family, and keep it local.
Yeah, for sure. And that's a wrap for today's episode. Thank you guys so much,
Thank
Mario,
you.
my guy Nestor. Hey, Nestor, you tell him what's up real quick. Tell him what's up.
Guys, I don't know, but don't be good. Be great.
Hey!
tell him the good news, boo.
Just remember that you are made with a purpose, on purpose, and we're thankful that you spent your hour with us.
That's what's up. Let's get in here for a little Fit Force, woo on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Fit Force, woo.
Peace out.
Doot, doot.